Yo, what is going on, my dudes? It's your host, LamarStaysWeird, coming to you once again with another podcast. And I know it's been a very long time. I did not expect there to be such this huge gap in between the episodes, but I've been going through it, man. And I'm not gonna lie, I've been putting myself through a lot of shit. So it's all like to myself. And this oddly enough, the very next episode I wanted to do was something that kind of ties into everything that's kind of just going wrong in my life, like leading into all that. I don't know. There's a lot of weight there, and that's exactly what this subject matter is with these movies that I'm going to be talking about, because it started out with me getting really sick. I got like a really bad cold. I become a bitch when I get sick, dude. I get really sick. I'm down for the count. I can't do anything at all. I'm a fucking baby, bro. And I got sick, and so I was just like secluding myself. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna finally watch movies I just haven't gotten to or anything. So it forced me to sit down and watch movies. And I finally did. And one of those was Mid90s. And I loved it. I absolutely love Mid90s. It was on my list for the longest time. I just never got around to it. But then I also came across this this movie, because when one of my uncles that passed away, I got a lot of his stuff. You know, I got a lot of his like games and like I picked up some movies and stuff, you know, because they wanted to clean out his place and all that. And I stumbled across this DVD, and it just said kids, you know, bright colors. And I don't know, I didn't know anything about the movie. I've heard of it. I've always heard the name. I've always heard it referenced, but I've never watched it or knew any other like further details than that. And so I was like, fuck it, you know, I think, well, like to my knowledge, like, oh, these are both like kind of like skater, like young adult movies. So yeah, let me just watch these like back to back. Crazy double feature. And I don't mean crazy like, oh my god, like no, it really was a weird double feature, especially somebody with my upbringing and stuff. I don't know, it really brought me back in a lot of ways, but then it also opened my eyes up to a lot more. Like, wow, fuck, that was kind of rough, you know, like the shit that was going on in my teen years and stuff that I was up to. And so it's like, damn, it holds a mirror, and you're just like, oh shit, like, yeah, it's kind of fucked up. Like watching it from somebody else's like perspective and stuff like that is like, oof, it's a bit rough. That's an interesting one. But before I go too deep into that, I want to say, yo, I almost completely forgot, but did y'all hear that intro though? Fucking new intro, dude. Brand new intro. I paid to have it made. No AI bullshit here, ladies and gentlemen. I went out and found somebody. I'm like, hey, I want something new. I got to do this. And that was another thing that like fucked me up for a while. My last episode, obviously, I love my intro. I made that. I took somebody else's song that was like very cool. With like, hey, yeah, you can use my songs for projects, streaming, whatever. Just credit me. Cool. Love the track. Absolutely loved it. It's a banger. But I went through all this process of, you know, chopping out these different, you know, you guys know my intro if you've listened to my podcast before. And I was stoked about it. I love that intro, but it got flagged on Spotify for a while. I don't know why, but I reached out, tried to have it, you know, reinstated again, take it back up and all this stuff. And it bummed me the fuck out, dude. It was such a bummer. And I couldn't bring myself to like do another one and not have an intro or anything. I hyperfixate. I'm pretty sure there's probably some undiagnosed stuff with me, but there are some things I just can't get past because I will hyperfixate on it. And it's like, I need that done right now, or else I can't do anything. Like that has to get fixed before I even move on. And so that's what happened. It took me the longest time to figure out a new intro, what direction I wanted to go, and blah, 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 all this other stuff. And then boom, got that intro. I just took some regular pictures, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna edit this shit together and get this all figured out. And I put together like 6 songs, and I sent it to this guy. I'm like, hey, I want to have like this vibe, do something with that. And will it change one day? Possibly. Like, I think there's definitely more I could add, like maybe a little bit of a different vibe that I want to go deeper into. But this is perfect for now. It's great. I'm happy. We got a new intro, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you guys like it. And it's also going to be like the outro as well, which you're going to hear more of the outro later. So that's a whole thing. But we're going to get back into the movies. But that's just like my little catch up. That's why I've been MIA for a while. I've just been going through a lot. I don't know how much I actually want to get into, because I don't really shy away from talking about my shit on here. It's crazy. I have a way easier time talking on this thing than like to actual people and stuff. But yeah, I've been putting myself through a lot. My relationship, just a bunch of other things, and those are things I'm definitely gonna touch on. I don't shy away from my mistakes or the things that are wrong with me or anything. It's just about how I want to talk about them. And I don't know, man, like I'm starting to be more cautious as I get older, because I'm realizing the gravity of everything, and it sucks. And it's easy for anybody to say, oh well, yeah, common sense, like like this does that, and that's going to lead to that, and this is going to make people not like this or whatever. Yeah, that's true, but God, dude, we sometimes forget people have like different mindsets, and just how like the upbringing completely shifts your worldview and completely obscures like these things. And it's rough, and it's taken a toll. And over the last year and a half, I've come to realize a lot, and there is a lot of accountability. Of course, I have to take accountability for any actions I've done and stuff, but it's also like, you're figuring out, holy shit, I'm this way because of all this other stuff. Like, now this kind of makes sense why like it just felt weird in the first place. Of course, I'm being vague right now because I'm going to get into it later, but yeah, just the whole thing. But we're going to be talking about some triggering stuff today. I didn't exactly mean for this to be such a heavy episode, especially around this time of year. I love this time of year. I love Christmas. Like, I'm fucking rocking a Santa hat right now, dude. The moment it hits like Thanksgiving, like the day after that, I'm rocking a Santa hat like all the time in my house. Like, I'm not bullshitting you. That's consistent. That is the vibe I constantly dish out. And the same thing with work. You know, we have like Christmas like attire and stuff like that. I'm fucking rocking that shit, dude. I'm festive. Okay, I like this time of year. It brings that side of me, and that's also rooted in childhood stuff, which is a lot of what this is. And the first one I want to talk about is Kids, because that movie, I really didn't expect that movie, dude. It was rough. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't like it at first. At first, I was like, this is exploitive. I don't like this. This is fucked up. This is like, who made this? Why would they make this? And all this other stuff. And then it left a sour taste in my mouth. But the more I started to research it after, and I'm like, okay, I might have been harsh. I might not like the subject matter, but being somebody who also had, you know, that type of similar lifestyle, it's like, damn, people should kind of know about that, like the gravity of the situations and all that, and the impacts that this can have on individual people. And this movie is a perfect example of your choices aren't just your own. Your actions will greatly affect other people as well in your circles, whether you want them to or not. That's just how it is. That's just the world. You know, it's a ripple effect, man. And if you guys don't know Kids, so the movie Kids, all right, it's like a late 90s movie. Trying to think, I can't remember exactly when it came out. I know I do a lot better about these things, but I'm trying to be more off the dome, more authentic whenever I start to come to my podcasts and stuff, but I'm still going to try to go into some stuff. But yeah, you know, it's a 90s movie, and it's kids. It's about these like teenagers being in these grown-up situations. It has a lot to do with underage sex, drug abuse, violence, sexual assault, even STDs, and parental absence. And it's all those things, and those are all very heavy topics, and the movie, it hits every single one of them. I'm not gonna lie, it does, but it makes it uncomfortable. But it's also because that's the life, you know. You're following like this group of kids in New York in the fucking 90s, and they're just a bunch of kids out going wild, you know. They're being teenagers, you know. They're boys being boys, and girls, I mean, this movie actually shows that girls can be just like guys. Like there's even a part where all these girls are talking about the people they've hooked up with and the things they've done and stuff. So there's like no modesty there, and it's like, okay, good. Girls can be the same way. Girls can be very much like guys and have locker room talk and stuff like that. It's normal. Like we gotta, you know, we gotta address that more. Like, yeah, like girls can do that. And it's well, first of all, it's like crazy. There's like a young Rosario Dawson in here. I think she's like very, very young in this movie. So that was kind of crazy to see. I mean, I grew up loving Rosario Dawson, and pretty much anything I see her and I'm just like, oh shit, it's her. Like, love her. She's fantastic. She's a babe. But I didn't expect to see such a young her in this movie. I was like, damn, that's crazy. But she was like the only one I really remember from this movie. I think she might be like the biggest name from this movie. I'm not sure. But yeah, no, this was a cheap movie too. I mean, it's cheap-ish. It had a budget of 1.5 million, but like box, and of course, you know, like this is around the time where DVD sales and all that stuff too. You're looking at 20, like north of $20 million that it made back. So obviously made huge, and it stirred up a lot of controversy in and of itself. Because I mean, the beginning of this movie starts out with, it's kind of like, I don't even want to say it because I don't want to like flag my stuff, but you see two teenagers, okay, and they're just going at it. It's uncomfortable. It's a weird scene. It's so weird to watch, and it goes on for so long. And it's supposed to be just like a regular, you know, like sex scene. And I feel like nowadays, and I've stated this plenty of times before, I don't like gratuitous nudity or anything like that in movies. And I feel like it's because the more the public has started to figure out about Hollywood and how exploitive they are and how much they treat or just how badly they treat women and men too, like as well. It's all across the board. People get treated a certain way, and they're just exploited, and it's part of the game how they see it. It's like, hey, like, you want to be famous, you got to do this, you got to show a little of that, do a little of this. And it's like, bro, that's kind of fucked up. That's weird. Like, you're taking advantage of the people, the fact that they have a passion they're trying to chase, and you're making them show the most vulnerable aspects of themselves and putting them in these terrible situations. Like, nowadays it's very normal to have like intimacy coordinators and stuff on film sets. That's recent, dude. That's like within the last couple of years. Like, nobody was talking about that shit back then. Back then it was like, hey, you have a sex scene, all right, just get your shit out and we're just all gonna film you guys. You're gonna have a bunch of people watching you from time to time. And not saying there aren't some people that respected that. There's definitely respectful people on both ends of the spectrum and different positions within the film industry that are like, hey, closed sets are a thing where nobody else is going to be around. It's going to be the director, the cinematographer, the actors, and that's it. And a lot of times that's perfect. That makes people comfortable in and of itself, because you're simulating sex. You know, not everybody's going to be super comfortable with that, you know. And with movies, there's always different types. You know, you don't really know what you're going to be doing. It could be like a rape scene. It could be, I don't. It could be like anything. You know, no matter what, it's going to be weird and uncomfortable. Okay, at the end of the day, these are still regular people. Okay, like, yeah, we know their name. They might have money. They might have, like, you know, nepotism and all that other stuff. But at the end of the day, these are still regular ass people that are going out of their way to do something. I don't know a whole lot of people that are just going to go and pretend to like film these types of things. Not your everyday person. But seeing how young these people look, and a lot of them are young, so that's where it's like, it's super questionable, and it's like, it's very like, I don't know how to feel about it, because on one hand, I'm hoping this wasn't just some writers and directors just want to be creepy and just put together this project and say, oh, it's art, it's gritty, it's real. And it's like, yeah, we know that people live these lives, and we're all aware of it, but it's like you're doing it with a camera. You're weird. You have control of the situation. You're crafting it. You're morphing this narrative in the way that you want, and you're displaying it the way that you want it to be. So it gets a little uncomfortable for me in that setting, because it's like we'll never know the mindset behind that. So it gets like it gets weird. But the movie starts out with that, and we're following this one character, and he's pretty much a hoe. He's a fuck boy. He's going around, and his dumb mindset, and this is crazy, but this also shows how naive kids can be, because I mean, I used to think the same thing too, because to me it kind of made sense, but in the real world, that there's a lot more factors into that. So his mindset, he likes sleeping with virgins, and because they're clean, so a lot of times he'll just sleep with them and then never talk to them again. So he like kind of manipulates and coerces them. So, which coercion, still no, that I don't see that as consent. If you have to like seriously talk somebody into something, I think you're already doing it wrong, my guy. You shouldn't have to do anything. That goes for anybody. Okay. If it's not a very much obvious, like, yeah, we're both DTF, it probably shouldn't happen. It's very best that you shouldn't. And I think everybody should definitely check your friends, family members, whatever. Check anybody you know where they had to say something like, oh yeah, they took like a little convincing or blah 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 blah, and it's like, that's questionable, bro. I don't like that. Like that's just me, and I'm sure a lot of other people are like that as well. But a lot of people need to be held accountable. That coercion is, to me, is not a yes. But yeah, so that's what he does. He goes around and sleeps with a lot of virgins and unprotected, and he just thinks, oh, they're clean, they never fucked anybody, so I'm set. But then throughout this movie, you're finding out all these other people that he's tricked into this stuff in these situations, and you stumble across this one character, and it's all these girls, they're all talking about their stuff, and they get tested, which routinely tested needs to be a thing. It very much needs to be. And she her and her friend, they go and get tested. So Rosario Dawson's character, who's a bit more promiscuous, she's had plenty of more partners than the other person. I think the other person only had like one, which was the one guy. And so they go get tested just because. And Rosario Dawson's character, clean, no problem. She's risked it plenty of times, and she even specifies that she has a way higher body count, and she has nothing. She's clean, thankfully. But this other character, she gets tested, and then she finds out she has HIV, and she automatically knows who it is, and so she spends some of this movie tracking that guy down to kind of stop him from getting with other women, and just passing along this virus. And that's something a lot of people don't think about. There's other factors. There's like plenty of ways you can contract something from somebody else, but I feel like one thing a lot of people don't think about is carriers. So like, let's say he slept with somebody that never slept with anybody, yeah, technically, but their parent, for whatever reason, one way or another, they carry the virus. That's going to be passed on to that kid without proper medication or any other type of diagnosis or anything like that. That's going to be passed along as well. There's chances of that happening, and I feel like that was probably the case in one way or another. So this dude's just going around infecting people. Okay, and a movie like this is supposed to highlight that. It's a very grim like movie. Honestly, I don't think it's a movie I'll ever watch again, but when I first watched it, I was like, I don't think anybody should fucking see this. Like, this is fucking terrible. Like, why would people watch this? But like I said, researching and trying to open my third eye a bit more and stuff, it's like, okay, it does highlight a lot of problems with the youth. When everybody is young, we're all thinking we're smarter than what we are. I feel like everybody's guilty of that. Okay, that's just how it is. Even now, almost 30. I still think, nah, I'm pretty smart. No, there's still a lot of shit I'm dumb about, and I still don't know. And the same thing when I was a teenager. So same thing almost 10 years ago, even more. I thought I knew a lot. And it's like, bro, you know, fuck all. Okay, in all honesty. And I was getting up to a lot of stuff, man. I was definitely unsupervised. My parents, I mean, they trusted me, but still, I was able to go out. I was able to drink, smoke, fight, carry weapons, get involved in these very sketchy situations. I'll see these memes on Instagram where it's like, oh, it's like playing some sort of music, but then it's like a picture of somebody. It's like, yeah, just us in the back of some random 20-something-year-old's car in bumfuck nowhere, and you're like 15, and it's like, yeah, that's what I was doing. I was out hanging with people I never went to school with. My other friends don't know. We just happened to meet these people at a skate park or somewhere before, or a bowling alley, and then now we started smoking, drinking, and just riding around with these people going wherever the fuck we wanted. And we chased that because, yeah, we wanted that freedom. We were young. We really wanted to be out there and doing those things. And it's like, man, I got myself into a lot of like situations that were definitely just not okay, like to be in. Like there was some situations that I definitely shouldn't have been present for, and stuff like that. And it's wild. And looking back on it, I just thought like, oh yeah, that's normal. It's like, oh wait, this shouldn't be normal. This shouldn't be things people are doing, like kids are doing. But that was just the life, man. That's just how it was. And now it's like I wouldn't want that for like my nieces and nephews and stuff. I mean, granted, life is life. You got to experience it. Like you make your own choices, you know. That's how you grow. Fuck. Sorry. I'm still like trying to get over a cold, and then also being like severely fatigued, but I want to do this. So, forgive me every now and then if I'm like a little meh. But yeah, man, it's a rough watch, and there's definitely some triggering parts, you know, especially when it comes to like the sexual assault stuff. Like the very ending of this movie, and it's crazy, and this is where you got to side eye your people, dude, because the main character in this movie, he keeps bringing it up every now and then when him and his guy friend, like I guess like his best friend, they talk about girls, and then he talks about them like younger and stuff, and I'm like, you gotta fucking side eye your people like that, bro. When people start to say some really questionable shit, and the guy doesn't really push him on it, and I feel like he does sometimes. He's like, I had faith in the guy, and his character was played by Justin Pierce. You know, R.I.P. to him. You know, that sucks, man. Well, I'll get into that later, but yeah, I know him as Roach from what do you call it? Next Friday. That's the only other movie I've seen him in. And loved his character then, and so I'm like, oh, okay, he's gonna be a cool guy in this one. And it kind of seemed like he was gonna be that guy to have a bit of the moral compass, but by the end of the movie, and it is obviously it's gonna be spoilers. By the end of the movie, you know, God, dude, it's just so fucked, man. Like, God, thinking about it now, like, it's already starting to bum me on. I don't mean for this movie to be a bummer, but I wanted to talk about kids first to get that out of the way, because that's the heavier one besides Mid90s. But Mid90s does have its own thing as well, but it does it in a very different way. But, yeah, fucking... So the chick that finds out that she has HIV, she's trying this whole time to go across just New York, trying to follow this guy to tell him that he has it, and then just spare other girls. And the guy is also shit. Oh, okay, hell. Sorry, but the guy is also trying to like get with this one chick that he hasn't been able to score, and they finally are able to like hang out, and he's convincing her to like come out with the friends and stuff. So it's getting closer to, you know, to D-Day. You know, he's pretty much about to score. And so she's taking all this time. It's so bleak. It's so fucking bleak. She's taking all this time to get to him. And when there's this like house party, she finally gets there. And when she walks in, she sees that they're already having sex. she sees he's already scored, and it's sad, and it's kind of like I guess she feels like defeated. There's like nothing she can do, so she just kind of just I don't know, just like shuts down. And I believe she was also doped up on some stuff as well, so obviously going into substance abuse, you know, within the youth as well. And so she crashes on this couch, and the guy, Justin Pierce's character, he comes in, and dude, it's so fucked, and it's such a long fucking scene, and I hated every second of it. I don't like sexual assault scenes in movies. Okay, it makes me uncomfortable. I get like angry. I don't like it because I've known too many women. Honestly, I don't think I can. I don't think I can name any woman that I know personally that hasn't been a victim of something, and that's fucked. That's really fucked. You know, it's like same thing with like family members, ex-girlfriends. It's just been one of those things. So it's something I don't like. I really hate. And then also being a victim of that type of stuff, it is very triggering as well, to where you can't help but have that reaction. So I don't really like it, but I know it's an important thing to talk about and sometimes showcase in media. Yeah, very much is. It's a conversation that unfortunately consistently needs to be had of, hey, don't fucking rape people, or don't be a rapist, don't coerce people into stuff. You know, it's all those types of things. And so she sits on a couch, and he like comes up, and he just notices like, oh yeah, she's not really responsive. And it fucking disappointed me so bad, because he wasn't a bad dude. You know, he was more complicit, which still makes you like an asshole, but he wasn't out there perpetrating a whole lot, at least from what I can remember. He was just more like, bro, you're friends with the wrong people, and you're not doing anything to call them out on their behavior, at least not a lot. But he did like question a little bit. Like you saw the seeds of like, maybe there's like a moral compass behind that guy. Maybe he'll actually like step up or something. And then it completely goes south, and he rapes her in a very extremely uncomfortable scene. It is so fucked, and it goes on for so fucking long, and it's so sad. And it's like, honestly, that's why I don't think I could ever watch this movie again. Do I think it's a movie I think everybody should probably see at least once? Probably. And I think it's because it's such a cautionary tale in that sense, because like I hated it, but it's like it's like that one friend that's very abrasive, and they said the thing that needs to be said, but it's like how you said it was fucked, but you did what nobody else was doing. So like, damn it, you got the point across, but like, you could have said it better. But it's like you can't really sugarcoat these things, because it is a fucked up situation to begin with, you know, just like all these different things. And God, dude, it's fucking rough. It's such a rough watch. But I say check it out. I kind of wish I knew more going into it, so I'd be more prepared. But definitely, I would say everybody needs to watch it at least once. It's kind of weird. I think the perfect time to watch this is when you're in that young age range, to where you see like, this is what happens. This is like some people's lives. Shit like this happens. And I don't know. It's definitely weird. Like I think perfect age. Oh. Sorry. I think like perfect age is definitely like, I want to say, yeah, like 17, 18, like somebody where you have like enough mental capacity to understand like what you just saw and how fucked up it is, but also like proper parenting. Like maybe you already know those things without actually having to be shown, and kind of figure that out. But that's just me. That's just saying like that one thing. But it was very real. It was very gritty. Like I see it now, how like inspirational it is when it comes to coming of age movies, and how it looked like it looked great. Like that's like in the whole standpoint of just like editing, how gritty it was, how like boots to ground. It didn't feel overproduced or anything. This just feels like we were just watching life unfold, and life can be very fucked up, dude. Like that's just how it is, unfortunately. But that's what that movie was, and I know I've been talking about it like almost 30 minutes now, but yeah, that's crazy. And God, dude. And it's sometimes the people you don't expect either. That's the other thing. You need to be well aware and not try to have a biasness when it comes to like your people. Because I my best friend's mom at the time, when I was like in middle school and like early high school, she thought I was the bad influence. But she literally only thought that way because I was fucking poor, dude. Like that's it. She looked down on like me and my family and just thought we were like a bad influence. And it's like, dude, no, I just don't have the fucking money that you guys have, all because you fucking married into money and all this other shit, and you give your kids everything you wanted. Her fucking kid was a bad influence on me, and it completely fucked up weed for me for the rest of my life. But no, they would go out and do some stuff, and I'm pretty sure there's plenty of stories that I don't know about because, you know, we drifted apart. But after hearing a lot of the situations, you know, over time, because it was a small town, things get around, like what they get into. And I've had them, you know, confess to me like, oh yeah, you know, I've messed with like meth and, you know, done all these different things, talked to this person, that person. And I'm just like, I was never the fucking bad guy out of our friend group, dude. That was it. Was I out there? Was I just being a fucking like dumbass and a punk? And you know, I was like influenced, you know, by like Jackass, and I had like a sailor's mouth and all this other stuff. Yeah, but I wasn't out there fucking like hurting people or being like a detriment to like myself or anything like that. But I was the bad influence somehow, some way. And I don't know, maybe they know that now. Like maybe the parents know that now, seeing their kids grow up, and obviously your parents start to learn some of the stuff that you've done or been through, you know, as you get older, and you shift from being like that parents and like children relationship to I guess more friendly. Yeah. But that was that was crazy, dude. It's fucking hell. The amount of situations I've also been in just because of that, just being unsupervised, and the amount of people, the amount of like kids I've hung out with that their parents just didn't give a shit that they were just staying at my house for like days. I had one friend, I think I've talked about this, like almost a whole summer he stayed at my house because his parents didn't give a shit. They did not care. And it was pretty fucked. It was pretty fucked. I moved in my ex best friend after knowing them like probably like a week or two after meeting them and realizing how bad their home life was, and I moved them in, and then we lived together. We moved down to Orlando and stuff together, and we lived together for a couple of years. Yeah, the amount of people that shouldn't fucking be parents, insane, fucking insane to me, dude. Ugh. Sorry if I keep yawning. I'm still like recovering from everything. I'm still incredibly sick, and I'm still like super fatigued as well. But I really wanted to put out a podcast and finally do something. So you're gonna deal with it. We're doing it live, bro. It's gonna be raw. It's gonna be live. You know, we're doing it like this. I'm not gonna do a whole lot of editing. I really wanted to put something on and get back to it. I'm getting back, slowly getting back into doing a bunch of things. You know, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. But God, I do really wanna talk about this. So, Justin Pierce. So the guy that I forgot his character's name in the movie, but he played Roach in Next Friday. I love the Friday movies, and Roach was a really dope character. And I always wonder why I never really saw him anything. I didn't know it, but he after watching this and stuff, and my girlfriend telling me that he committed suicide back in 2000, and he left like two notes and stuff, and it's pretty fucked, man. Like I think it might have been some substance abuse, and I'm also recording this the day after finding out fucking what's his name. Sorry, it's slipping my mind. But James Ronson. He played Eddie in It. He played the older version of Eddie, and he was also in and what were those movies? Fucking, he was the Black Phone. He was the brother in the Black Phone movies, and he was also in Sinister. He was the cop. He I just like saw yesterday that he committed suicide on the 19th, like December 19th, 2025. You know, he and I'm finding out like the more, like I was like, crazy dude, like I really liked him, like that was wild. And he had a history that he was pretty outspoken about substance abuse and sexual abuse that he suffered when he was younger, and stuff. And this all ties into this stuff, man, of just like sexual abuse and just what kids can get up to, the innocence of kids, and like how that can really shape everything. And before I like get into Mid90s, I've been having my own issues. I've talked about this before, but I'm just finding out more and more as time goes on. And a lot of my life is black. Okay, a lot of my memories are just black. I don't have anything. I don't remember a whole lot, and I'm pretty much Dory when it comes to stuff. I remember like some weird things here and there, but a lot of my childhood I just don't remember. And it all stems from a lot of sexual abuse that's definitely happened that I'm still discovering more, and I'm always very open to talk about. And it's impacted a lot of my life, and it's ruined a lot of professional relationships, a lot of personal as well. um it's made dating somebody like me incredibly hard. I have such a fucked up view of like just sex in general, and I hate it. I hate it. Other people see it as like this super intimate thing or anything like that. I see it as absolutely nothing. To me, there's no weight to it, and I consider it a burden. I mean, this would be the first time I admit it on the podcast, but for a few weeks now, I've been going to a Sex Addicts Anonymous group. I've been going there. It is extremely humbling to hear other people's stories, and being able to talk about mine with strangers. It's crazy. I can't explain the feeling, but I really needed help. I was spiraling, and I was hurting people, like my relationships, and putting myself at risk, and a bunch of other things. So it's like it was getting rough. I was spiraling. I was getting worse, and I I made the decision I don't want to be that way anymore, and I want to try to fix a lot of these things that are wrong with me. And yeah, so I'm taking the steps. I'm working on it. I'm working on getting back into therapy. I'm going to continue going to groups. It's it's very rough, man. It's incredibly rough. It's such and sorry if this is like so heavy. I know this is like the worst time of year, but it's my fucking podcast. But it's something you know, I'm not really gonna shy away from. Like this is just what I do. I talk about like, me and like films. I have a hard time feeling things, dude. I don't know how to express a lot of emotions, and that's why I watch a lot of movies. I They help me feel and interpret a lot of things, and it helps me process and look at things because I don't know how to look at them within myself. And so I have like a good support system. I have people there for me that are understanding, that aren't judgmental, and then there's plenty of people that are. And hey, that's fine. I Hopefully they'll never know what it's like, but I mean, hey, that's neither here or there. But I'm working on these things, and I wanted to talk about these with these movies because a lot of things happened to me that shouldn't have happened, and it greatly impacted my life in the most negative ways, and it's caused me to affect other people. And and it sucks, you know. And I just don't want to be that person anymore, you know. And I hope this also encourages other people who listen, who may have been through these things, or who may know somebody who's going through these things, to like talk to them, because it's such a weird feeling, like, to betray your own body. Because if I could have it my way, I would never have sex for the rest of my life ever again. I would never have sex. I would never look at porn. I would be so happy to never have to lust after another person, because I don't see that as intimate. I don't. And obviously that's a big part of relationships as well, but I don't see the weight. I don't see the value in it, because it's been bastardized for me. And so I'm trying to work through all that, and I got to figure out how to change all that and see the world differently. And I'm hoping one day I can, because fuck, dude, it's rough, man. It's not cool being up here, you know, sometimes. And yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna go like super super heavy, but it's rough, man. And I think a lot of times we forget how much that impacts people, and especially when it comes to like men and stuff, and how much everybody does want to protect kids, but there are times where people definitely cover up things, or they don't want to acknowledge things because the gravity of the situation. You know, nobody wants to deal with fallout, and that's where a lot of this stuff starts to bloom, and you know, it just fester. It sucks. It goes into some shit, man. It's rough. It really is. But nah. Let's let's get into Mid90s. Mid90s is on a better tone. I absolutely loved it. It was written and directed by Jonah Hill. That was another reason I've always wanted to see it, because I love Jonah Hill. You know, I grew up watching him like in a bunch of movies and stuff. So the fact that he had his own thing, like, cool, let's check it out. Plus, it's an A24 film, so this is back way back when, and when they were still, you know, getting up there. And it's an amazing watch. It has like one uncomfortable scene, but it's great. The like, the whole point of this one is you're following this one kid, and it's his name is Stevie. Honestly, the cutest fucking kid since Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone. He is such a cute fucking kid. Like, I fucking love him in this movie. Like, I kind of wish I had like a little brother like him or something. Like, God, he's such a cute kid. And but you're following this kid who's like wanting to grow up a bit too fast. Like, his older brother sucks, and he's like a bully. But you know, he's that typical little brother. He sees like all these alternative things. He starts to get exposed to the skate culture and like music and video games, and he wants to get more into that because it's fascinating. And so he's trying to do that, and then he sees these skater kids and he wants to be like them. And so he, you know, he tries trading his personal belongings with his brother to get like this like shitty 80s looking type skateboard, to where he can actually start learning and stuff. And it's so sweet. And I don't know, it's like the other side of the coin of kids, you know, because there is still some fucked up stuff, because you still get to see the same things. You still get to see kids like smoking, drinking, fighting, getting like, obviously we're going to count it as sexual abuse, because they're supposed to be very young, you know. And I'll get into that, but it's handled in a very different way. I feel like it's way more digestible, and it can kind of make you look back fondly on that life. Like, it definitely did for me, because I love hanging out at the skate park, and with all my other like punk friends and all the other stuff we would get up to, because there were those good times where we were just genuinely being kids. But then like the fucking lights go out and stuff like that, and we revert to just primal instincts, and we get ourselves into situations out of curiosity, hormones, or whatever. So it's like, this is the other side of that coin, and I really liked it. And I think it's definitely well crafted because each character like of these kids, because you're following like 4 or 5 kids, and it looks so much better. They all represent different aspects. I typed down something. So we have and I love the nickname. They nickname him Sunburn. And yeah, so Stevie or Sunburn, I put that he's the learner. He's kind of the sponge. He's trying to like impress these kids. He's trying to actually like learn the lingo and even try to, I don't know, he's kind of like not like a servant in a way, but like he's immediately happy whenever these guys run out of water and they're like, "Hey, yo, go grab us some water." He's fucking all smiles and just like eager to like go get that water and do something and be like, "Oh shit, I helped out these guys. I did something cool." And that's, I don't know, that there's just something about that. But he definitely wants to impress. But he definitely has like some demons. He has like an emotionally raw side to him, and he feels guilt and stuff. Like there's one point where he steals money from like his mom, to where he could try to afford some stuff, and he punishes himself. Like he commits self-harm like multiple times in this movie, and it's fucking crazy. And it's so weird seeing such a little kid do it. But he'll take like a brush and just like viciously scrub his thighs, or like he took like a phone cord and like started choking himself whenever he does something like bad, because he deserves to be punished for it. And he does have like a single mom home, and obviously a piece of shit older brother. And so like it's like, fuck, dude, that sucks. But this is a good kid at the end of the day. He's just trying to like find himself, you know. But he eventually starts to get better at skating and all that. Like it's so cute. And then we have Ray, who's pretty much like the leader of that group, and he's more emotionally mature. And we start to figure out later down the line, whenever he starts dropping some lore, that the reason because of that, you know, he dealt with loss. You know, loss is definitely one of those things that humbles us at a young age and kind of reminds us like, oh shit, life is actually serious, you know. Oh fuck. But like he lost like his little brother at a young age, and he just comes across as a genuine dude. He actually cares about Stevie. He tries to stick up for his friends. He looks out for their well-being in general, and he's observant of the group and like who's what. Like he's well aware of like his people, and it's great. He's such a great character. I absolutely love Ray. And then we have fuck shit, and that this movie, it's just, to me it makes perfect sense. Like you got a kid name, his nickname is fuck shit, all because he says that anytime he sees something dope. He'll just be like, fuck shit, that was dope, man, or like some stuff like that. So they just call him fuck shit. And I can't say anything because I used to say fuckface a lot. That was my favorite when I was younger. I used to just call people fuckface all the time. And I don't think I had like any nicknames like that at all. But no, that was just like one of those things where it just obscure and kind of stupid that kids would do. And it's like, yeah, that makes sense. Kids can be cringe. Okay. Kids can be cringe. We've all been cringe. And that's very much one of them. But it's funny. But he's more of the loose cannon. And he's pretty avoidant, like emotionally. Like whenever Ray, obviously being the better skater of the group, when he starts to talk to pros, he fuck shit would actually get like, he would get jealous, but he would try not to show it. But then he does eventually like start to like display that. He kind of starts to peacock a little bit, which I'm sure like a lot of people know what peacocking is. But yeah, he'll start to peacock a bit and try to like boast and like try to be like the cool and the center of attention. And he's all about partying and all this other stuff. He's more complacent in where he is, versus Ray. He wants to actually skate and get better, become a pro, and get out of like their living environment and stuff like that. So it's respectable versus fuck shit's like, yo, I'm just here to chill. I'm just enjoying the time, you know? And that's all fine and good. There's different aspects of that is great to have, you know? Sometimes you do want to just enjoy life as it is, not always just looking down the road and be like, oh, I got to enjoy it then, not right now. It's like, no, like you got to do a bit of both. You know, you definitely got to do a bit of both. And that's what I love about all these characters. They're all different aspects of like how a person should be. And then we have fourth grade. Fourth grade, I mean, it sounds cheesy, but he's definitely he's the observer. He's just a kid that they say he's not very smart, that he's poor, and he just films everything. He just has like a little camcorder. He just records for the group, and that's it. And he wants to make movies, and it's like that's fucking cool, man. Like that's honestly awesome. He's definitely more reserved. He keeps a lot of his stuff to himself. He's very like tightly, you know, like he's just in a box very much. He doesn't talk to a whole lot of people. And but he's a cool character in and of itself. He's still somebody that really cares. And then we have Ruben. Ruben was a little fuckhead. He was a little asshole, but he was the first one that Stevie met, and he's that kid that kind of thinks he's cooler than what he is, and he's like thinking he's like second in command of the group or whatever. So he's the one that's starting to like boss Stevie around, and he's more like insecure and fragile. So pretty much he gets to punch down at somebody because everyone else would probably punch on him, which it doesn't seem like they would. They seem like they all kind of like banter very well, but he has that moment to feel more superior, and so he takes it. So he like kind of bosses him around, and he starts to get jealous of Stevie whenever Stevie starts to get more recognition and is obviously being liked. Fuck, dude. I'm so sorry that I keep fucking yawning. Like, you guys have no idea how fucking tired I am. It's been ridiculous, okay? I had fucking bronchitis for like a week. I was dying for a while before I even knew anything was going on. So I was really feeling it, and I'm still trying. Like, my sleep schedule was so fucked. I was literally going to bed at like 6 in the morning and then waking up like probably like what, maybe 12, maybe earlier than that. So like your boy's been going through it. I haven't been great. I've been depressed. I've been angry. I've been, you know, I've been rocking bush. I've been getting fat. You know, like I'm gaining weight. There's like all these different things, bro. Okay, I'm going through it. All right, but next year, 2026, bro, we're gonna get back on track. We're gonna do things a bit different and all that. So bear with me. Things are gonna be a little more consistent. But yeah, Ruben. Going back to Ruben. He's the more insecure and like fragile one, and yeah, he sucks. He eventually like fights Stevie just because they have like a little disagreement. He gets tired of like how like I guess popular he's getting, but no, like in this movie they did great. This is definitely a movie I highly recommend people to watch. This is a really good coming of age movie, and Jonah really outdid himself. Like the attention to detail in this movie is so great. The cinematography is already really good. The amount of like I like grainy stuff, and like they had the sets like super trashy, like they actually had like street lights and signs specifically for the time to make sure that they're like time accurate, or like at least a period accurate. But like the music, the clothes, the stores, like storefronts and stuff, they have all that made because they really wanted it to be super 90s and just like gritty. And I love that. It's fantastic. It's a vibe I want to keep chasing. I want to find other movies that are definitely along that vibe. So if you guys know any of those, definitely recommend them to me. I want to find more stuff like that. I love that. And it was very authentic, and I really, really dig what he did. And all the characters, they work well and complement each other. The situations they get into. The uncomfortable scene in this one, it's nowhere near as uncomfortable as fucking Kids, and that's why I think this one is way more digestible. This, I would say Mid90s is kind of a little more of the soft parenting, I guess you could say, versus Kids is like, hey, look at this fucking shit. This is what happens, and it's like, whoa, all right. It's very heavy-handed, so that's where like they're like two sides of the same coin. But I liked Mid90s more because it was way more digestible. And to each their own. People can like Kids for that reason. I like Kids. Whoa, pause. I like the movie Kids because of like what it did and how it talked about these things, it made these uncomfortable conversations happen, which definitely needed to happen. But I still worry it's very exploitive. So, but we'll never know. I was never there. I'm not behind those closed doors having those conversations and blah 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 blah. So it's just up in the air. I don't really know, but I still think people should watch it. But I will side eye people if they fucking tell me like, oh yeah, my favorite movie is Kids. It's like, that's fucking questionable, my guy. That should not be anybody's favorite movie. I know it's all about matter perspective and opinion and stuff, but there are just some movies that if somebody says they're their favorite, you're like, that's not right. That sounds very much wrong. Like, I don't know. That sounds really fucked up. Like, the only way I'm kind of giving Kids like a bit of a pass, barely a pass, is because Harmony Korine wrote this when he was 19, like 19, 20 years old. So it's like, okay, you're around that, like, you're fresh out of that mindset and you really had a story to tell. It's like, all right, that's cool. You know, but he wrote it for somebody else who wanted a perspective of a kid, which I'm like, okay, that in and of itself, it sounds good. It's like, okay, it doesn't sound like it's creepy or predatory or any type of way, but it is still Hollywood at the end of the day. And I don't know, things get weird, man. You know, like everything's like a little bit of Diddy and a little bit of Epstein, you know? So it's like, we got to side eye a lot of stuff. We got to make sure like we're like questioning these things and where we're putting our money, who we're trusting with their art and stuff like that. So it gets a little rough, you know. But the scene that's uncomfortable in Mid90s, it's crazy to me because I had no idea that's who this was. But yeah, so the chick from Euphoria, I love Euphoria. Well, I loved Euphoria. I don't even know if I'm gonna watch the next one, but Euphoria, that shit took over my life, just like everybody else on the internet. Whenever that shit was coming out, like every Sunday, so I kind of miss Euphoria Sundays. Not gonna lie, I like my white girl shit every now and then, and I say that as we just wrapped up I Love LA with Rachel Sennot's I Love LA. She's from Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Loved her character in there. And dude, that's like one of my favorite white girls right now. I love her Valley Girl shit. I don't know why. I hate it on other people. I hate the idea. I've always never really liked it. I always thought it was like just, I don't know. But I love it on her. She's like my favorite white girl right now with that type of thing. And the show was just so good. It's very girly pop and just white girl coded. Fucking love it. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's pretty funny. And shout out, they actually played Turnstile in the last episode, which was very crazy. Josh Hutcherson fucking just viciously cleaning because, you know, he's going through like a breakup or whatever, like an emotional time, and he's just jamming out to Turnstile while cleaning, going through spices. Fuck yeah, dude. That's literally me. That's literally me. I'm literally him. But going back to Mid90s. So Alexa Demi, if you guys don't know Alexa Demi, so she plays Maddie in Euphoria, which is like, I guess like the main like bitchy character, like very preppy, snobby, bitchy character. She's in that movie as well. She's in Mid90s making out with this kid, and it's so crazy. It's crazy to watch because I never knew anything of that, but it's like a long makeout scene that just like, it's very weird. It's so fucking weird, and it is uncomfortable. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it very much is. Okay. And let me see. And Alexa. Okay. So the actor Stevie was 13 years old and Alexa Demi was 28. She was 28 making out with this kid in this movie. That's fucking crazy. Now her character, I don't know. I don't know how old her character is supposed to be. Let me see. Yeah, I don't see where her character is. But that's fucking crazy. And the thing is, it's hard to say that's not predatory, that's not weird, dude. You're 28 making out with a 13-year-old. That's fucking crazy. Sources say her character was supposed to be um around 16 or 17. And now I'm seeing like conflicting where she was like, oh, she was like 22 to 28. Either way, if you're 22 minimum and you're making out with a 13-year-old, that's still fucked. That's still weird, dude. And it's it is such a weird thing because the kid, he was uncomfortable during it, but he was, and this is where it's gonna get like weird, but that's because of the set of the movie. He was kind of consenting to this, like even after he went and told his boys, they're all laughing about it and stuff. And it's fucked because the dialogue after is kind of funny. And it's such a weird fucking thing to like feel. Because like okay, the thing he says, and it makes it funny, and I'm not trying to like really laugh about it, because you know it's fucking weird. It's such a gray thing. But in the context of the film, the character did want to hook up with the chick. He did. And whenever he goes out there and brags to the boys, he's smiling and all that. And he's like, yeah, she let me put two fingers in her vagina. And then they all started laughing and stuff. And then he's like, it's way lower than I expected. My brother in Christ, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Dude, I did not expect to hear a child say that. That shit is so fucking funny. I started dying. And I'm like, I should not be laughing because that was like a minute of just making out that was super up close and uncomfortable to watch. But hearing him say that and his delivery with his like naivety and it just childlike innocence was so fucking funny. It was hilarious. And it's so like it's so confusing because I don't know what the fuck to feel. But I'm like, dude, I can't even remember all the things I felt when I was younger trying to like understand like the female anatomy and all that stuff. I was probably along the same fucking lines, most likely. And it's just like, dude, I don't know, man. But it's weird. But then, so watching it in the context of the movie, it's like, okay, it's fucked. It's fucked. But I'm thinking about the context outside of it. I'm thinking about how this actor is literally like 13 and he's making out with like this 28-year-old. How is this not weird? You know, how is this going to impact him? How does she feel about this? I mean, granted, the job's the job, but like you kind of know what you're signing up for. So that's where it's like Hollywood gets mad weird for me, dude. And I side eye projects that do have like these types of things because I never know the intention of why somebody really wrote this. It could be just like, hey, this is strictly just story based, and hey, we picked the best person we could for the job, the best actress that we wanted that would actually get this project done and done the way I want. Okay, I get that. But it's like, I don't know. It gets so fucking weird, dude. It really does. It gets heavy. I have no idea how to like I don't know. It just it gets mad uncomfortable and I never know what to think. And it's because of just how much everything has shifted with Hollywood and like how we view celebrities. And I don't know. It obviously I'm at a loss for words here, but that's just what it does. And it's worth watches. Both of the movies are worth the watches, but there are like some uncomfortable scenes. Granted, Kids is way fucking heavier. Mid90s is more digestible, but it's still extremely uncomfortable. Like watching that whole makeout scene was fucking weird. But everything else outside of that movie was great. Okay, it was made on a budget of 1.7 million and it made like 9.3. So obviously not huge numbers, but that's still like a good chunk. Like that's great. And this is early A24 as well. And it's something, I don't know. And one of the other like hard parts to watch is like this car crash scene. It wasn't graphic, it wasn't anything, but it was honestly one of the most terrifying like scares I've had from like a movie, because the way they edited, the way they had the sound and stuff, it's, I don't know, it's pretty crazy. And it also like kind of triggered my girlfriend a bit because she didn't see it, and it was so simple, the simplest thing. Like they were getting in the car, like all the friends, and this was after they had like a rough day of obviously everybody not having a good time and like fighting and stuff. So fuck shit was drunk, wanted to go home. He was wanted to go to a party. He was driving. Ray told everybody to get in the car, which is pretty fucked up. Ray should have known not to let anybody get in the fucking car. So that was a very big lapse in judgment right there. And they all get in, and then he says, "Hey, we're not going to a party. Everybody's going home." And this is where you focus on fourth grade. Fourth grade is in the back seat, and he's very uncomfortable by the whole situation. And he knows something's wrong, but because of how reserved he is, he doesn't really say anything. He knows fuck shit is drunk, and he doesn't really want to be in the car. But you're focused on these people in the car, and you just hear like the cars going by like quick. Like you hear it, you see like the flashes of light like shine on them and stuff, and like you'll hear like a horn or something every now and then. And it's unsettling because you don't know what is going to happen. We're all used to the car crashes where, you know, it's a side profile shot and you see the car coming and the other person doesn't. Yeah, I feel like that's kind of like overdone now. Now we're kind of like over those. This was far scarier because it's a quick cut where you're seeing fourth grade, where he like reacts, where he kind of like jumps to hearing a car pass by quick and the light flashing on him, like the headlights, and then it just cuts. And then whenever you do finally come back, like whenever it comes back from black, the car is like totaled and all this stuff. Everybody's like fucked up in the car. It's crazy. It's such a like triggering thing. It's like, holy shit, that was gnarly. Like the sound, it just the very simplest like things. And they did a phenomenal job. Less is more, and they did that incredibly well. You know, I've already been talking for like an hour and stuff, but no, these are just movies. I think it's a very interesting like double feature. I say check them out. Be prepared. You know, it is gonna get heavy, but yeah, definitely do it, and definitely talk about like these things with people. Don't side eye your friends when they say some questionable shit. I know everybody nowadays has like dark humor and all this other stuff, but some things, there's always a little bit of truth in jokes and stuff. So people say some questionable stuff from time to time. So you got to really check that and just clock it whenever. But I really enjoyed getting to talk about this for a minute. I really felt motivated to actually talk about something, and I really appreciate you guys for listening to me. This will be probably the last one of the year, but I am going to get more consistent. I am going to be getting back into streaming, making some gaming videos and stuff. I'm going to be doing more content-based stuff. It's coming. I've made some investments. We're good. It's going to be coming, guys. So by all means, share this around with your people. If you like, I don't know, if you just like me in general, it's free, dude. It's free to leave a like, leave a comment, just say something witty, cool, whatever the fuck. I don't know. Tell me about your day, whatever the hell, or how you related to a film, or your ranking of a film, whatever, you know, anything and everything. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you that have listened, supported in any type of way. It means a lot, man. It really does. And I am going to keep doing these things because I do enjoy doing them. I just needed the time. I needed better equipment to do some things. So we're getting it rolling, man. We're going, okay? We're trucking along very well. But we'll get there. We'll get there healthy and happily, hopefully. I wasn't really trying to do the whole alliteration thing, but fuck it. There we go. But you guys have a Merry Christmas, man, or Happy Holidays, whatever the hell you want to celebrate. I love this time of year. I really hope you guys are having a good time. And a Happy New Year's, man. I really hope next year gets a lot better, because holy fuck, 2025 sucked, dude. It sucked a lot of dick, and not in a good way. So let's try to do better. You know, each and every way, for every person. Let's try to do a little bit better. But until next time, be excellent, be kind, subscribe to the podcast.